Hello, my name is Catherine and I love to learn languages. This year I dabbled in Polish, I dabbled in BSL, I studied French, I studied Spanish, and I'm coming into 2023 trying to refine my technique with language learning. Sorry if you hear rustling, my dog is right there. So in 2023 I'm trying to really create do you need to be right there right now? Is that right there? Babe. Something I've really struggled with in the past is having these goals that are honestly unattainable for me, creating these really rigorous schedules, goals that are honestly just so out of reach, and then I don't accomplish them, obviously, and I become so like sad and like, oh, what's the point? And this year my focus is on not doing that. I am trying to really go for attainable, reachable goals that are within my realm of possibility. So, let's quickly talk about a little bit more about 2022, and then we can get to 2023 and our goals and everything for that. I actually feel like in terms of what I've done in the past, I didn't have terrible expectations for what I was gonna do this year. I went in wanting to be C2 English, C1 French, B2 Spanish, A2 Scottish Gaelic, and A1 BSL. I was living in Scotland for the first 6 months of this year. I had expected that I would be continuing to live in Scotland, hence the BSL. The Scottish Gaelic was just like a little fun thing for me. I really enjoyed being able to read like the Ambulant on, that was so French, I'm so sorry. Like they have everything in Scottish Gaelic as well as English on the signs there, and I liked being able to read all of them. But that came to naught. I had a lot of memorize goals that I did not achieve. I find that memorize is always the first thing to go. And it went so quickly this year that I was almost like, wow, what was the point? I wanted to finish the Spanish Essential Grammar textbook. At this point, I could do that. There's still, what, like 4 days before the new year? I could do that. I'm not taking notes on it. I'm just reading it, which is, I know, a little bit of a cop-out, but we do what we have to do in these troubling times. I wanted to finish the Scottish Gaelic Duolingo treat. Who did I think I was? I wanted to like do 30 minutes of BSL like every week and all these really grandiose goals that again failed. I did pretty well in Duolingo this year, not gonna lie. Here are my stats. Duolingo is kind of my one constant in language learning. Take what you will from that about me, but I wanted to read 3 books in French. I did this. I read Cendrillon, I read Le Petit Prince, and I read Les Chiens de Baskerville. And those were all super fun, really rewarding. I loved reading in another language. It felt so cool. And I would rate those 10 out of 10 experiences. What I would rank as a sub-0 out of 10 experience was the lack of Las Aventuras de Alicia en el País de las Maravillas. I was gonna read Alice in Wonderland in Spanish. I didn't even start it. I downloaded it. I didn't start it. I definitely didn't finish it. So that's a goal that's getting moved to next year, I guess. I wanted to turn on the subtitles to French when I was watching TV on Netflix. I did this. I rewatched all of Community in French, and I got some great vocab out of that. And really that's about all I had. This year was a little rough. I was finishing my master's degree. I had a bit of a really hard time, if we're being honest, in the middle of the year. And that bit of a hard time has been up till now. So I'm still working on getting everything settled out. So without further ado, that was my year of language learning last year in 2022. We're coming into 2023 and I'm feeling pretty good, actually. I'm going to focus on 3, count them, no, don't count that, count 3 here. We're doing French, we're doing Spanish, we're doing German. I am at a really good place with French right now. Are we gonna talk about it? Let's talk about it. Duolingo changed their like design again, and it looks weird now. Again, They do it every year, they do it every time. Every time we're all like, why are you doing this? Why didn't you leave it alone? And every year they're like, it's better for learning. And we're like, okay, I guess if you say so. I think that this new redesign has made it a lot easier to make goals, because it's really divided things up. So rather than having my goal be complete the whole tree, which is something that I always say every year and never do. For French this year, I'm planning on getting to Intermediate 1 in Duolingo, Spanish Foundations 3, and German Foundations 2. And those are all much more achievable goals that I was able to make because of the new Duolingo design. So, am I crazy about the way it looks? No. But do I love what it's doing for the goal aspect of it? Yes. I love it. Love to see it. Love goals. I'm making it my major goal this year to really focus on input. I want to do a lot of listening. I'm looking to do 200 hours of French listening, 100 hours of Spanish listening, and 75 hours of German listening this year. So in regards to doing a lot of input, I want to do a lot more reading. So I'm going to have a goal again this year to read 3 books in French. And I want to switch my Switch to French. And I have restarted my Animal Crossing Island, and I'm going to play that seulement en français. Moving on to focus a little more on Spanish. Spanish is the one language where I feel like I actually have the most opportunity to use it in real life. I live in the United States. Spanish is the second most common spoken language here. At least I think so. Editing Catherine will confirm, but I'm pretty sure. I have friends that are from Latin America. I think that this is the language that has the most applicable everyday use for me. And for some reason, it's the language that always gets left behind for me. So I'm really going to try and leave that in the dust. And we're going to come into 2023 with a whole new attitude, whole new vibe. I'm feeling good about Spanish. I'm going to speak Spanish pretty well by the end of the year. I'm speaking it into existence. And I can't even say speaking it into existence in Spanish. Habla en la existencia. Is that right? We're gonna put it up there. See how right I was. I'm going to really focus on Memrise. I had no Memrise goals for French because I've finished Memrise for French. So there's, just like the core courses they have for French. So I have nothing left for them. But with Spanish and with German, I still have tons of stuff to dig through with Memrise. So I'm going to get to Spanish, Mexican Spanish 5 in Memrise. And I also want to I found this course someone had made of Harry Potter y la Piedra Filosofal. My pronunciation is really bad, but I'll leave the link for that down below. And I'm going to learn that vocab this year. I also want to read 2 books. One of those will be Las Aventuras de Alicia en el País de las Maravillas. Wow. We have a lot of work to do. So, we'll see what the second book is. I'm excited to see. And moving on to German. Memrise. I want to get to German 3. I have a basic German textbook that I have found, and I'm going to try and get through it. I do tend to avoid textbooks, I'll be honest with you. This year I read, was it like the basics of Polish? It was this tiny little thing, and I read it, and I found it to be super helpful. That's something I kind of didn't touch on yet. I spent a lot of time doing a lot of Polish this year. I made a friend in Scotland who's from Poland, and I learned a lot of the language. And when I say a lot, I mean for me. I was not fluent. I could barely speak at all. I could only understand like 2 words. It's like a fun dabble project. I will be reading the basic German textbook this year. So these are the solid, steadfast goals that I have made for 2023. Lord knows that they will probably not be the same goals that I come to the end of the year with. But I'm feeling really, really positive about language learning this year. I think that this year is going to be the year where I finally find my stride. I finally find a way to integrate language learning into all aspects of my life, to create uses for the languages that I wouldn't speak normally in a not artificial way, but in a very like real way. I really want to absorb and like live in other languages and really work on like global citizenship, you know. I'm back in the US, I'm back in Ohio, but I can still be a part of like society, you know. I have already I joined a Discord for German language learning. I don't know, I'm not super familiar with Discord and I'm a little shy. You wouldn't know it from these vids, but I'm a little shy. So if you guys have any language learning Discords that you recommend, please leave them down below. I would love to join. I'd love to have language learning partners for Spanish, for French, for German. Once I get a little further in German, I know no German right now. I have like the vaguest memory of like what I did 2 years ago. But yeah, basically I'm feeling really good. And I hope you do too. Let me know what your language learning goals are for the year. I'd be really interested to know. Let me know what your language learning goals are for the year. I'd be really interested to know. And I hope you really enjoyed this video. I hope you found it motivating, helpful. I love watching these videos. It's part of my favorite part of the end of the year, is seeing everybody's new goals for the coming year. So hopefully this added to that craze for you. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you very soon. Happy New Year!